Hello, I'm John and welcome to another Arty class tutorial hosted by Shopkeep Arty, the online platform helping everyone to be inspired, learn new art skills and have fun creating. Today we're zooming to New Delhi, India, where we'll join professional watercolour artist Megha Kapoor. Live is the best way to improve your art as you get really insightful questions asked of the artist as people paint along. If you're watching a recording of this live event, you can find a full list of materials and reference photos from our video catalogue. Also, the link is in the description below. So without further ado, let's hit the travelometer to the left of me and go and see Megha. So Megha is known internationally for her watercolour floral paintings. In 2006 she graduated in applied arts and then started working as an art instructor at the School of Art and Animation, where she's now a department head. In normal times, Megha can also be found travelling around the world at the invitation of institutions supporting fine arts, and she's also participated in more than 100 art exhibitions. Hello Megha.
Hello, hi John.
How are you?
I'm good.
And
How are
what time is it there, your time at the moment? It's getting
uh,
into the evening now, isn't it?
yes, it's 6:30
Oh
p.m.
my goodness. Well, thank you very much for agreeing to share some time today with us all. I'm really looking forward to this floral painting and everything. And it's our first show together, so I'm really excited about it. Now,
Yes, me too.
let me just finish my short introduction. I'll let you get ready. Now, Shopkeep Arty holds a number of live shows throughout the week, and these free Arty class webinars are designed to give you a good introduction to a featured artist, as well as a short, sharp boost of creative inspiration. We're continually hunting out leading artists from around the world, giving you the opportunity of spending some time with them and experiencing different multicultural influences. If you have any suggestions for new artists, please do get in touch with us via our website, and if we do feature them, you'll get a free pass into their workshop webinar, so can't be bad. As we get into things, if you're loving the class, you'll be pleased to know that we'll be taking a pause around halfway, and I'll be asking Megha about her full 2 to 3 hour workshop webinar, which is coming up next week. So without further ado, let's get back to Megha and we'll make a start on painting a glowing bunch of flowers. Right, Megha, back with you.
Yes. Hi. So, for today's class, thank you so much, first of all, Shopkeep Arty and John.
No
And
problem.
it's a wonderful platform. And yes, the workshop will be consisting a lot more on the composition and the color theory and much more in detail. But yes, I would like to, since for the people who have joined today, I would like to tell them a little bit about how I start and how I look at a painting first, because whenever we are going outside and we are looking at a bunch of roses. So most of the people, what are they doing is they are painting botanical drawings, right? They are basically doing a deep study of the botanical leaves and botanical flowers, and they went into that. But for me, flowers are not just botanical creatures. For me, they are uh, a different source of inspiration, and they are a medium of expression for me. So whenever I am painting, I am composing my flowers in a different way so that they convey something. They are not just just flowers. They are basically my medium of expression. So I think this is what I would like to tell everybody, that whenever you are painting, don't look at an object like you have to just paint it exactly in the similar manner. Means you are not painting a photograph. Okay, it's better that you look at the that how you can interpret that in your own way. So that is much more important, and I think any good painting consists of good shapes, okay, colors, values, edges, and a very good composition. So when you look at the shape, so I will be showing you that, you know, what I'm going to paint today. You can also show them the image, and I'm
Yes,
also,
and everybody should have this as a reference photo from the website, so you should
yes.
have that in front of you.
So if you look at this picture, what I'm going to paint. So if I go to a garden and if I look at something like this, if I look at the flowers, now it depends on me that how I compose these bunch of flowers. Okay, I can compose them closely, a little bit closer. Okay, I can, and there should be one focal point in my painting. So basically, what an artist do? An artist basically bring the viewer to that image, whatever he or she wants to interpret. So if this is the most beautiful rose which I find, then through my edges, through my colors, I will make this part much, much more clear, and I will diffuse these. Okay. And also by diffusing them, I am creating distance in my painting, which is very, very important. So it's important to create a background, a middle ground, and a foreground in your painting. Okay. Even if you have a flat picture, even if you have a flat photograph, still you have to create a background, a middle ground, and a foreground. So let's see that how I compose this. Also, you know, by showing you an example here in my picture. So for example, if I have a box with me, okay, and if I have to place a small object, so how I place something in my picture, that is very, very important. So whether I will be placing it right in the middle of something, or I am placing it downwards, okay, or I am placing it above. So the meaning changes each time I am placing my object in the uh, you know, in on the paper. Okay, so this is basically the figure and the ground relationship. This is my figure and this is my ground. So when you are painting, this whole is your ground. Okay, and where you have to place your most important figure, that will show how your painting looks like and how you are creating a focal point in your painting. So let me just start. So this is my ground. Okay, and now I am since I have to place this picture, I always follow the rule of thirds. Okay, so what do you understand by the rule of thirds? That you are dividing your composition into thirds and you are placing the most important object on your thirds. So if I am dividing my picture into the thirds, I am mostly placing my most wonderful flowers or the object which I want to focus on the thirds. Please ask John that everybody understands that or not. I mean, because it's like a grid on your phone, right? If you see that they have a grid, a picture grid in each of the phones available right now, where they are dividing, although it's not necessary that you follow the rules, but yes, if you follow them, they definitely makes your things look more beautiful. Rather than centralizing things right in the middle of the picture, it is much, much better if you put the focal points on your thirds. Even if in the landscapes you will see that the old masters, they used to put they used to keep the buildings in the thirds and the sky uh, just this much, or when they are painting a seascape, you will find that, you know, the water is 1/3 and the rest of the picture is 2/3. So you are basically creating interest by placing the main objects, by placing the focal objects on the thirds.
So shall we are you going to be sketching much, or are you going to be starting the painting soon?
I am not sketching more. Okay, I'm just placing, just by drawing, you know, some circles. I'm just placing my flowers that where I have to compose my important things, and then I will be just giving it a wash and I will be starting it.
Okay. Now, unfortunately, we can't see the sketches that you've done very closely because it's quite light sketching. But maybe if you can hold the pad up just a little bit, we can get an idea of the pencil sketches that you did. Yeah, just there we go. You can just about see them. Yeah. So it's just rough outlines of the
Yeah,
roses.
it's just rough outlines of the roses. Okay. Also, if we talk about the techniques, okay, which is very important for me, it's important that you know about, you know, wet and wet, wet on dry, dry on dry, and dry on wet. Okay, because then only when I will be painting, you will be able to catch what I am doing. So when we talk about wet in wet, that means that the water, the sheet is already wet, and also the color I am taking, okay, that is also wet. I mean, my brush is wet and the paper is also wet. So the kind of effect which is created by the wet and wet thing is something like this, right? Your, if you are, if you want to drop it, if you are drawing something where you want the edges to be loose,
Yeah.
where you
Yeah.
want,
We
uh
do a lot of wet on wet art
yes,
classes, so I think most people will be familiar with
most
that.
people will be familiar with,
I'm
yes.
I'm just hoping that we're not going to be running out of time because I'm just because we're already sort of 15
No, no,
minutes
no,
in,
no, 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 no,
just to
no.
let you
Okay.
know.
Yeah, no, no. So it's like wet on wet, and then when the paper is wet, and I'm taking a completely dry brush, and I am doing something like this.
Yeah.
Okay. So the kind of spread is very less because I have taken a dry stroke on a wet paper. So
Yes.
whenever I'm making a flower which is, you know, much harder and where I want the shapes to be seen clearly, then it will be more of dry on wet.
Yes. So the focal points will be more will
More,
be more
yes,
dry, whereas
yes,
the softer out of focus
yeah,
things will be more wet on wet.
yeah. And when we are talking about dry on dry, that will be more of like, you know, the last points where, you know, I am just, you know, making some dry edges or dry strokes where I'm just giving more of the hard things. Okay, so that will be more of dry on dry. Okay, and wet on dry is also something where the sheet is where I'm giving proper shape. Okay, so something like this. It's a leaf and the surface is dry and I'm just giving a light proper shape. So
Yeah.
that is your, so these are the four kind of techniques which I will be doing. So let's start with the painting since we have very less time. And okay. So I'm wetting my sheet.
So whereabouts have you decided to pull the focus towards? Where is your focal point in
This
this?
here is my focus.
Okay.
Will be the
And so
tube.
you're not going to be bringing the water into that at the moment. It's you're going to be working around that area. Is that right?
Yes, yes. So I'm not coming to that area. I'm just leaving it. Also, the colors which are far away from us will be much cooler. So I'm adding more blues to my greens. I will be explaining a lot more about the colors I use in the workshop. Okay, that how I mix my greens and how I go about my blues.
And what blues and yellows are you using in this? Because I think Lala said that there are only red ones listed on the materials list for some reason, which I need to check on. But
Yeah, because actually I mentioned the reds, okay, because they are much more. They are the reds which I am much more specific about. Okay, so blues are generally the ultramarine and the cerulean, which I think every one of you have. But the reds are more like rose madder and permanent red, uh, carmine, and red violet. So these are basically the kinds of reds which not everyone has. Also, I'm using Mijilo Mission Gold colors because I am the brand ambassador of these colors. So here you can see that I am more loose. For the shadows, I am adding red violets.
and are you working flat here, Megha?
Yes.
You are.
Now this is more like with the with the with the brush which has a sharp edge.
Is it a bit like a sword liner brush? Is that
Yes, yes. What they call is dagger, I think. Yes. So since the edges here are not that, uh,
and you were talking about the different techniques. Are you doing dry on wet at the moment? Is that what you're?
yes, yes, because you can see that the sheet is wet, but I'm taking hard colors. So whenever there is a warm light, there will be cool shadows. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding some cooler blues for the to the greens.
So you've got a top-down approach really with your page. You haven't done a huge one full page backdrop. You're working top down.
Yes, I'm working top down. Sometimes I'm also wetting the back side of the paper, but this sheet, what I'm working on right now, doesn't allow the wetting of the back side. But otherwise, some sheets are like, which on which you can work by wetting them from the back side and from the front side. So I will be teaching this technique also in my workshop. I won't be going from in this kind of technique. I'll be during the workshop, I'll be teaching you wetting the back side of the paper entirely and the front side, and then going uh, in the painting.
And what paper are you using that doesn't allow you to do the backside? What paper are you using today?
This is basically an Indian paper. It's an Indian handmade sheet.
Oh, right.
Yes, so the handmade paper is more like a much more delicate paper, and the cold press papers like Archie's and such papers. Archie's is a wonderful paper, and it allows you to also Saunders. Also, there's a French paper called Lana. I think they have introduced it just now, Lana Aquarelle, and it's a beautiful, beautiful paper. And if you can go, because I mentioned these papers also, like the Lana, the Archies, and the Saunders. So the all three of them are very, very beautiful papers. And
Is this paper that you're using a bit like caddy paper?
yes.
Ah. And would you recommend, if you were doing a proper piece like this, would you recommend pre-stretching or taping your paper down to stop the curling? Or
Uh, yes, in few papers, it's very, very important.
yeah,
Otherwise you won't be able to work, and especially but yes, when I'm wetting the back side of the paper, then the paper doesn't move, because when you wet the entire side back side and then you press the sheet, then you are able to work more nicely.
yeah.
Yeah, the paper becomes flat.
And you're working flat today. You haven't got your board tilted, but do you normally work flat, or do you normally have an incline with your work?
If I want, that kind of an effect in some paintings, you will see in some of my older paintings where you can see the water dropping down.
Okay.
It's more, it's much more difficult to do such kind of a thing. And also, it's like it's specifically needed for few paintings. Otherwise, it's much better if you work on a flat surface, because then you can handle your painting much easily, much easily.
Yeah. Now, Chavi said the rose has variations in colour in what you're doing compared to the photo. But I guess this comes back to what you were saying about your own interpretation of the.
Yes, because I am giving the light from the side, and I'm creating the more of a shadows here by adding red violets to my roses, so that more of dimension comes in them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they will be more like a picture, more like a photograph.
Now, is that the brush you use to wet the paper to start with? It's quite a big.
Yes,
What type of brush is that?
this is basically an art essential squirrel, Kazan
Squirrel
squirrel.
brush. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So you can see that, you know, I'm more of creating a dramatic scene through by giving more of contrast.
Yes, because you're starting to get towards the area of focus now, so you're building up an intensity of color. Is that right?
Yes, yes. The saturation is increasing now. I don't want you to see these. I want you to come here. So if I will be giving importance to these roses, then your focal point will not be, it would not be easy for you to look here. So that's what I'm doing. I am playing with the saturation. I'm
Yeah.
playing with the color saturation. And
Now, Trina and also Margaret on YouTube have both commented that the squirrel brush we talked about before is actually, in the States, they call it a cat's tongue paintbrush. And Margaret said she loves her black velvet cat's tongue. There you go.
okay.
Sounds a bit dodgy, doesn't it? But anyway, I'm sure it's not.
Yes, and I think it's a beautiful one, and even I love this one.
So the strokes that you're doing for, you're almost following the line of the petals, is that right? Is it some of the
Yes,
significant petals of the rose?
yes, yes. So basically, that's what I said, that you know you have to focus on the shapes. So shapes are very important, and it's more like, you know, the way you basically draw. So I'm just half closing my eyes, and I am following the. I'm just looking at the shape of the object, and I'm just giving, trying to make it in one stroke, trying to finish that in one stroke.
Charvi said, how would you go about re-wetting areas if they've started to dry and you're wanting them a bit wet? Would you use a spray, or how would you?
No, I will be like here, I'm re-wetting this area, okay, because I want this to be at a distance, and I want to add some blues to it, blues and some grays.
Mary Jane has said it looks like you do quite a lot of negative painting in the way that you go about your work. Would you?
Yes, yes.
So as you work around this, what are you looking at the moment? Are you trying to define the the
Yes,
flowers?
because these are like more of loose edges here and here, but here I'm giving some soft edges. So soft edges means that the color variation is not much, okay, and these are not hard edges. The values are also similar, okay. So that when we are coming here and developing our focal area, you will see that the edges, what I will be giving here will be much more harder. So I'm adding a little bit of yellows also here.
Oh, it's getting quite exciting because you're getting towards the true focal point.
Yes.
So when you work on each flower, do you tend to work from the center, or do you tend to work from the outside in? Is there a normal pattern, or does it vary?
Uh, it's more, yeah, sometimes it depends also, but more from top to bottom. That's how I go. I mean, usually from top to bottom. Because, and also from the distance, as I said, that, developing my painting from background to middle ground to foreground. That is the basic pattern.
Yeah. And you did a little pencil sketch at the beginning, the sort of the outer outline of each flower, or the main flowers. But would you ever sketch it in more detail at any stage if you were doing maybe a close up of a flower or something like that, or do you just let the paintbrush? Do
No,
you just,
I usually let the paintbrush go. I,
yes, yeah,
I have never ever, sketched in a much uh,
detail.
manner. No, no.
Now we're kind of approaching the halfway mark now, Megha. So I don't know whether now's a good time, or whether you just want to give it a few more seconds while you do a bit more, or when do you want to take a break?
Yeah, I think once we finish the focal point, then so
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so I'll be coming here first because
So here you're adding a bit of shadow in the rose itself. Is that right, with the darker color?
yes, yes. So this is more of a red violet, and I'm using it with the reds, and I'm creating shadows. Also, it's like, it's, I think it's more important just to, uh, copy the colors of an artist. It's more important to understand the color theory. It's more important that if you understand that, why, what kind of shadows will be created in a warm light. If there will be a sunlight, what kind of shadows will be there. So, and also when there is a cool light, like a skylight. So, how the color changes with the skylight and how the color changes with the sunlight. So, when you know all these important things, then it doesn't matter that what kind of color you are using. So,
Yeah.
basically, you just know that, how to go about warms and cools and how to balance them in your painting.
So how about a break at this moment? We will be coming back, and you can obviously do more because it's only half time. So it's just a half time break. Is it okay to stop now?
Okay, okay.
Okay, perfect. So How are you getting on at home? It's fantastic as we've worked down the page and we've got towards this focal point. So I'm really looking forward to completing that in the second half. If you're watching on YouTube and if you're enjoying what you're seeing, it'd be great if you could press the thumbs up button. It just ensures that YouTube recommends the class to more people on the platform, helping us to spread the benefits of creativity to a wider audience, young and old alike. So thank you. By the way, if you subscribe to YouTube, and the button is about there, you'll also get notified when we launch new arty videos, so you don't miss out when we launch a new one. Now, as I covered at the start, this 45-minute arty class is a short prelude to Megha's full 2 to 3 hour workshop webinar next week. In our workshops, we have a lot more time and you can speak directly to the artist for guidance should you wish. You can also get a written critique of your art after the event, as well as obtain access to the video so that you can then go back and repeat the class as many times as you want. So it's a really good workshop. It's a complete package to help you develop your skills as an artist, and they're also really good value for the time that the artist is really dedicating to you. Now, in the case of Megha's workshop, it's going to be next, exactly almost a week's time, next Tuesday at 3:30 UK time in the afternoon. So that's Tuesday the 13th of April. So Megha, what are we actually doing there? We're building on some of the skills you've talked about today, but we're going to be doing a much more comprehensive floral, and I can see that you've got a few paintings that you've brought out. So it won't be exactly like this because we're almost doing a plein air from an actual bouquet, but it'll give you an idea. So let's just show people here what we're going to be doing. Wow, that looks lovely.
So actually I wanted not just to paint, to tell them to paint roses, because we can take in the next class, maybe we can take a full bouquet like this, and where I can take peonies and some more additional flowers, some lilies or something like that.
Yeah.
If if they want something of these autumn flowers, because many people want to, paint such, like to paint such kind of colors. So if you want me to paint something like that, yes, so we will be doing more of a full bouquet in the next class, and taking more flowers, more kind of leaves, and I'll be teaching you, because it's a 3-hour workshop. So I'll be teaching you, different kinds of leaves, different kinds of flowers, and also about the color theory. And
Yeah, perfect. So and you're actually going to purchase a bouquet on the day before or something, and then you're going to send a photo to us. So although we'll try and show it in the event as well, so that you can actually see the real flowers, we'll have a photo as well so that you can work from that. But it'll be a variety of different flowers, and as Megha's just shown, going to create an amazing piece. Let me share my screen now and I'll show you how easy it is to go and book your workshop. So what you do is you head over to our website, and you then click on live events, and you scroll down, and you'll see Megha's workshop there. By the way, we've got a birthday special. I'll mention a bit more about that later. So you click on Megha's workshop, and here it'll show you, it gives you an example picture, but obviously she's going to be purchasing that photo, so we'll send that out the day before. And you can, with the materials list, and then you click on the link there and it'll go through to Megha's shop, and there's the ticket for the live workshop, but you can also purchase the video if you can't make the live event. And the video has a full price, but if you've attended the workshop, you get a big discount to purchase the video as well. Once we've launched the video, you can then go and find that on our purchase library. By the way, there's a new video there all about the differences between purchase and live, so I'd recommend you go and have a look at that. Then you can scroll down, you'll find Megha's video. You can purchase it if you haven't purchased it before, and once you've purchased it and unlocked it, you can then press the watch button and you'll then just be able to watch it. Right, let's go back to Megha, and we'll go back for the second half. Back with you, Megha.
Yes, okay. So we are now more focusing on the flowers, which are our focal point and where we want the viewer to come. So this is what happens also, like you go to a garden and you see, and when you are looking at one rose, it is actually just impossible to look at the other roses. So that's what painting is. When you are looking at one thing, it's not, you can't look at the other objects at the same time. So you have to bring your viewer to the flowers which you love most. And so when I am painting something like this, I also have an idea. Like suppose we are three friends, so my painting can be, three amigos together in a garden or something like that. So whenever I am painting something, I only start it when I feel something about it. So my flowers are just the interpretation of events happening in my life. And when I look at a picture and if I feel something that, yes, uh, this is something which relates to me, then only I start and begin to paint that. So these are more closer together. They are much more happy, and I want you to look here. So that's why.
So that's why you're giving more attention to that area and more
Yes, yes.
colour, vibrancy, and shadow.
Also, you can see that, I'm using hard color. I'm using much more saturated color. I'm using a flat brush now, and because I want you to come here, and that's what I think any painting is all about. It's not only florals. Even if you are painting a landscape or a cityscape, it's more about the focal point where you want your viewer to come. So
Sue's asked, is your palette an open tin of colours?
yes. But for one painting, you have to, fix your colors. I mean, yes, you can, vary with different colors, but then for one painting, you have to think before beginning with the painting that, yes, these will be the colors what I'll be using for this one. So you'll see that, I'll be balancing these colors here also. And
And Rachel's asked, what are the dark colours you're using around the roses?
this is more of raw sienna with ultramarine.
Okay.
Greens which I'm creating is more of raw sienna and a little bit of umber with the ultramarine. Now this is a beautiful color which I used here also. This is cobalt green. I'm adding a little bit of yellow. Because these are fresh greens here. Still, why I haven't used those bright greens? Because I want my roses to be the more powerful thing here.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Otherwise, you know, if these are also as bright green as my roses, you know, as bright and as yellow, then you know that color takes your attention.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what yellow is it that you're using there?
This is deep yellow, and one is yellow light, permanent yellow light. So I'm just mixing that with the cobalt green, and I'm using, and it's because of this only that I'm using cobalt green. Otherwise, if sometimes, you know, it's necessary to show uh, those yellows in and the fresh greens. Then, for example, when you are painting sunflowers, okay, so then the greens are very different from what I'm using in this painting. So you can see many of my works are there, so you can see that, you know, I use a variety of greens. But yes, not directly from the palette, never. Making your own greens and making them a little dull is very important.
So Jennifer's asked, the roses at the top middle area of your page, are those going to just be left as they are, sort of out of focus, or would you go back to that a bit later to add a bit more detail, or will you just
Yes, sometimes I will go back. Yeah, because if this, I don't know right now,
No.
ask, okay, but yes. So for the lower part, I can, you know, tilt my page a little bit. Again, I'm mixing ultramarine and raw sienna.
Yes, as you build up the definition of the roses, they really start to stand out more, don't they? Veronica says it's coming up beautifully. Beverly says that's so lovely.
So you can see that, you know, I'm
I think the light is coming from the top left down, isn't it? Top left, diagonally down, is that right?
yes. See, building up the light is very important, because everything is beautiful with the light only.
Yes. And you're still using that cat's tongue or squirrel brush at the moment, is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Brush that
Yes.
you're using. And I guess the thing that's quite nice about the shape of the head of that brush is it's almost like a petal or a leaf, isn't it? So as you
Yes.
put the
Yes.
paint on, it almost naturally creates the right shape for you.
And also, I think, for the harmony in your painting, just like, we create strokes, pencil strokes during our sketching or our drawing, it's very important to use, not many brushes. So if I'm working with a round brush, I'm generally completing the whole painting with the round brush because of the harmony only. If you are changing a lot of brushes, then you are most of the time you're breaking the harmony. So when you're working with the same brush, uh, your brush strokes, they automatically bring a harmony in your painting. They are just like your strokes.
Yeah, yeah. Now we're sort of nearing the end, so as you continue to finish off a little bit more, Megha, I'll just sum up at the end just now, so that and I'll come
Yes.
back to you in a minute to have a look
Yes,
at
yes,
how you're
yes.
getting on. So how are you getting on? I've been getting some interesting comments from you because it's an interesting technique, isn't it? And building that, and it really works lovely as the focal point comes into focus. So yeah, it's going to look fantastic by the end. And we would love to see what you've come up with. And as always, we've created a post on our Facebook page. So you literally go to Facebook and type in or search for Shopkeep Arty. If you're watching this video on YouTube, the link is in the description as well, which will take you straight through to the relevant post. And just take a photo of your painting once you've finished it and share it with us, and have a look at what other people have created, because everybody has a slightly different interpretation of things. And if you like what you see, don't be afraid to give other people a bit of a like or a nice comment. We've got a really nice community thing going on, so it's really nice to spread the love, so to speak. So as we near the end of the show, if you've got any words of thanks that you'd like me to pass on to Megha, please write them down on the Q&A or in the live chat. And whilst you do that, I want to turn my attention to our most important attendees, our patrons, because being a patron is not only the best way to save money on our exclusive workshop webinars or get access to our entire video catalogue, but the monthly contribution you make also helps to support these ongoing free weekly classes throughout the year. This week I've got some new patrons to welcome into our exclusive Arty community. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to pronounce the names all correctly this week. I sometimes have some issues, so let's give that a go. So let me press that button of thanks behind me, and we will say thank you to Jackie Winton, Kim Humphreys, Anne Kamara, Bert Kreutz, Cherry Tse, Karen Romani, and John Dawson. There's a good old-fashioned name at the end there, John Dawson. I can pronounce that okay. So thank you so much for your support, and I know you'll enjoy all the special events that are coming up. In fact, this Thursday we're holding a special Arty class with Keiko Tanabe, which our patrons are invited for free to attend, and that's going to be live from San Diego in California. Then on Thursday afternoon we've got a very special birthday party event, which you're all invited to attend, celebrating a year of our Arty classes with Shopkeep Arty. So there's no need to buy a present. Just make sure you've got it marked in your calendar. In fact, if you visit our upcoming live events page on our website and click the birthday premiere button, you can then set a reminder on that page for that video presentation. So there we have it, the end of another great arty class. Before I go, some comments first of all for Megha. Let me come back to Megha. And so Trina said, it's really interesting to see how you've built this up, Megha. She's got some photos of her camellias that bloomed in February and March. She's going to try this technique with those and see how it works. And Shital said, thank you, it's wonderful. And Barbara said, thank you for a beautiful demonstration, Megha. The colours are beautiful. And thank you, John, for your guiding questions and explanations. So thank you. Deanne said, just absolutely fresh and lovely. Thank you for such a wonderful demo, Megha. I'm actually going to be showing the painting in a minute. We're going to do the big reveal in a minute as Megha's working on it. Helen said, exquisite, just glorious. Can almost smell their beautiful aroma. Yeah, now that is quite a talent to be able to convey smell with painting. And Beverly, thank you so much. That has been a fabulous workshop. And Harvey, excellent brushstrokes and tonality. Thank you. Wendy said, thank you, Megha. Lovely to see your painting appear. Louise said, lovely style, loose and vibrant colours. Lala, I love your style, Megha. Thank you very much. A most enjoyable demonstration. And thank you, John, for introducing us to Megha. No problem. Helen, thank you for sharing such lovely explanations of your work. Shavi, absolutely, ma'am. You are such an inspiration and such a sweet person. Lots of love. Amelia, beautiful. Looks so easy when you paint it. Love your technique. Susan, thank you so much, Megha. How easy you make it look. Mo, wonderful session. Love how it is so loose. Have not ever worked from top down only as she's done today. So you'll have to give that a go, Mo. Deepa, this was an amazing workshop. Thank you. Carolyn, wonderful demo. So talented. Susan, thank you so much for today. Oh my goodness, I've got a lot of comments here, Megha. I just keep on going. Lynn, thank you. Really enjoyed learning about this technique. Parveen, thank you so much. Enjoyed the session thoroughly. Bobby, thank you. This was a wonderful technique for getting me looser. We'll be doing this often. Carol, I'm eager to try this way of painting with other flowers. Angela, thank you so much, dear Megha. Enjoyed your demo so much. Kisses from Girona. Susie, love this demo. Thanks. Pratiba, wonderful loose colours. Thank you so much. Very well explained. So that was some lovely comments. So thank you. And I'm going to show you now what Megha's been able to do with those few extra minutes. Let's have a look. I'll go over to it now. Here we go. Wow, look at that. Oh, and you even had time to sign it at the bottom. That's fantastic. That's lovely, isn't it? Look how the focal point, it really does guide your eyes down to that bottom right section. That's really lovely. Thank you so much for doing that, Megha. So thank you everyone for joining us today. If you're going to be joining me in about half an hour, I'm going to be with Fiona Hooper. We're going to be painting a dog portrait in oil with just knives, just using knives. So that's going to be a really incredible thing. So I'll see you in about 30 minutes. If not, hope to see you on Thursday for our 2 very special events. Anyhow, it's obviously goodbye from me, and thank you so much for your time and generosity to Megha. Thank you, Megha.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for your lovely comments. It was overwhelming. Thank you. Thank you.
A big round of applause I think you deserve. There we go. Thank you so much. And I'll finish on your painting. Bye, everybody.